But we'll wrap this up tonight. We have one more speaker. Excited to have him here. Good supporter of ours, and he's going to give us some good intel and finish 2025 public meetings for the Hillsdale Conservatives strong. So everyone give a warm welcome to Bill Sage.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. Well, I'll tell you, it's a pleasure to be with my fellow dirty, low down, no good deplorables. Isn't it? It's a new definition, isn't it? Deplorable means patriot now, doesn't it? Somebody needs to redefine that in the dictionary. And, you know, it's a funny thing because, you know, I'm looking at the flyer, the Hillsdale Conservative flyer for this event. You guys know what it says at the bottom of that flyer, Josh? It says, a republic if you can keep it. That's what it says. And that brought me to look that up because Ben Franklin said that in 1787, right? And he said it at the Constitutional Convention. That actually was the real beginning of our country. And I'm going to read something, so I looked it up. And you guys got to excuse me, I'm somewhat of a rookie of this. I've spoke a couple times, but you know, a group this size, it is a pretty good sized group. And I'm impressed, I really am. Because when I first got here, I thought there was only going to be like 12, 15, 20 people here. Kind of like up in Kettlewood. But no, you guys are great. And it's funny because of all places for this to start, it's here in Hillsdale. And in a very short few minutes, you're going to understand why I'm saying this. Because, you know, I'm going to read this. I like to shoot from the hip, but I'm going to read this. By Ben Franklin. When he was asked the outcome of the Constitutional Convention was, he replied, a republic, one that citizens must actively preserve. And the quote suggests the establishment of a republic was only the first step. The new government would depend on the continued vigilance and participation of the citizens, for this is the survival and the success of the country. And that phrase highlights the self-governance and the responsibility that each one of us have to keep it. It's up to us. You know how many people you voted for the House of Representatives, for the Senate, for the presidential elections? What have they done to renew the republic? I want you to think about that for a minute. We voted in our senators, our state reps, and look where we're at. You got to think about this. What would have happened if Biden would have been reelected? Where would we be right now? We would be in civil war is where we would be. I was ready to lock him out. I'm serious. I was going to lock him out. I was a Tea Party founder in Allen County. And I was actually planning on rounding up the troops. Is what I was thinking about doing. All right? And that thought was actually going through my mind. Maybe I shouldn't even be saying this right now. But that thought was in my mind. I bet you it was in a lot of your minds too. If Biden would have got reelected, I mean, if the Dems would be in control right now, I believe a lot of us would be locked and loaded. And that's what brings me to this. It's up to us. How do you take a country back to constitutional rule of law? How do you do it? What?
Local first.
That's right. Now, how did it get taken away? How did our republic get taken away? Because it did. It got took away. It really did, if you think about it. We all know it in our heart. It got took away through the education system. What do they learn in school? You know, I'm 68 years old. I know I don't look it. But I'm 68 years old. And you guys, a lot of people in this room are going to agree with me when I say what I'm going to say right now. And what I'm going to say is when we were in school, what did they teach us? They taught us the Constitution. They taught us the Bill of Rights. They taught us what the Second Amendment is all about. That's why we're defending it. Yes.
Nowadays in school and stuff, they won't even teach 9/11 related to history, anything. It'll be like off topic or anything. They don't teach the Constitution. They might teach you maybe self-defense or
DEI, CTR, LGBT education.
Especially just like the health class and everything, that and stuff pretty much took it away. When I was walking past, all I seen was LGBTQ on it and stuff, and they're teaching instead halfway through fifth grade. It was 5 times they bring it fifth grade when they're supposed to be in sixth grade. They're teaching it early, and then it's all taken away.
You learned this, and you saw this in school, didn't
I
you?
just graduated.
All right, well, you weren't hearing it from a horse's mouth. I wish there was 150 of you guys in here right now. You need to spread this amongst the high school, amongst your friends. They need to know, because that's not what they're learning.
That's not called education, that's called indoctrination.
That's exactly what it is. And now we're paying the price very dearly. Yeah, President Trump's in office right now, thank God.
Thank God, that's all.
But what if he hadn't gotten in office? And he's not going to be in office forever. So how do we secure our country? You can't depend on your legislators. We have to do it. Which brings me to how. How do you do it? You take back the education system. How do you take back the education system?
I don't mean to.
No, you're fine. I want it.
After World War I, when France lost to the Germans and didn't even defend their capital, there was a French admiral named Admiral Foch who wrote a book on why the French lost World War I. He too, like you, blamed the education system because they were taught leftism, moral relativism, and it was the education system
Well, that's
that
how they do it.
defeated them, and will defeat us unless it's changed.
That's why we're in trouble right now.
Yeah.
It's because of the education system.
I saw something where they're having a meeting of the State Board of Education where they're gonna greatly liberalize the junk they're currently
They want to
teaching.
they want to secure DEI,
Yeah.
LGBT, they want to secure all that right now. I just saw that last week, actually.
Yeah.
You saw the same thing, the State Board of Education.
Yeah,
That's why I'm here,
okay.
all right? This is why I'm here. I'm here to talk about how and maybe help start organize. It's the funny thing is, I got called by Josh to come down here and speak. And I believe that was a little touched by God, or the leaders here, as I can say this. I might not say this to a different group, but I can say it in this group. The ironic thing is, with what I want to do, where's it starting? Hillsdale.
Hillsdale.
Of all places, Hillsdale. Now, years ago, and, where's John?
He just went out the door.
He's got to support me on this one. But anyway, I was the founder of a Tea Party. I became a county commissioner. Ran. When I was a commissioner, the other commissioners hated me. You know why? Because on my email list, I had a bunch of patriots from Allegan County. And every time I wanted something, guess who was there? I might have 50 patriots standing in front of those guys, those 9 guys. They didn't have a choice because their people were standing there right in front of them telling them what they wanted. So they had to vote in. One thing I got here right here, this is the Constitutional County Resolution. I just wrote it, all right? And what this actually calls for is the county board to create a constitutional county and turn it over to the townships, but the townships create the ordinances because, county commissioners, they can say, hey, sheriff, you gotta arrest somebody. If any official that comes in and tries to arrest you on an unconstitutional mandate, COVID, that sheriff has the right, under what I'm working on, to arrest that official for any unconstitutional, because he's the criminal at that point, not you. Does that make sense, what I'm saying right now? If anybody's confused, tell me. I just did this up. It's not even done yet. But on a commission, and you're gonna agree with me on this, Tim, counties can't create ordinances. Townships can.
Right.
That's why the county directs the township in this resolution to come out with the ordinance that states and supports the fact I'm an official, I'm an FBI agent, I'm arresting you because, whatever reason. If Biden was still in office right now, we'd need this. We would be in serious trouble right now as a free country, because it would be going communist, socialist and fascist. You need this. And this calls for those ordinances to be drawn up by the townships that state, okay, if you're an official and you want to arrest you or you on an unconstitutional mandate, if you've hurt somebody else, that's different. But if it's an unconstitutional mandate, like a mandate from President or Whitmer, that official can be arrested, and calls on the township to call on the sheriff to arrest that official. Does that make sense? It's kind of basic constitutional rule of law, really, if you think about it. It's natural law. And what is natural law? It's God's law, no? What is the Constitution of the United States of America? What made us great? God's law. That's what the Constitution is. It's natural law, written by God. And, but I didn't come here to preach. But anyway. So anyway, what we did. Does anybody remember Obama's indefinite detention provisions, section 1021, 1022 of NDA 2012?
Absolutely.
Who said that? Anybody else remember that? Do you know what Obama said? You know what Obama said? If you did what you did here today, I can call you a domestic terrorist. And I can have you arrested and held until the war on terror is over with. How do you think they held those guys on January 6th?
Unlimited detention.
Unlimited detention. Okay, January 6th, Washington, D.C. What happened? They held those guys without due process. How do you think they did that? Obama, 2012, section 1021 and 102 of the NDAA 2012. Indefinite detention provisions, that's how they did that. And then Trump released them, right? This is the Liberty Preservation Resolution. I wrote it when I was a commissioner, okay? This nullifies Obama's 2012 NDA 2012 in the state of Michigan. They can't do it here. Tom McMillan wrote the bill that was supported by this resolution. This went through several counties, and this is how we got it passed through the state. Well, we nullified Obama's section 102 and 1022, NDA 2012. They can't do that in Michigan. That's what this is. And you guys are welcome to read it. I'm going to be around a little bit afterwards, so you can if you want to take a look at some of this stuff. All right? Anyway, when I started all this stuff, I called it Constituting Michigan. Or Constituting America is what I called it. Do you guys remember Janine Turner? Kathy Gillespie, Constituting America, that was on Fox News. Anybody remember that? Janine Turner was on Fox News talking about Constituting America. I was calling my program Constituting America, but Kathy Gillespie calls me on the phone. She said, Bill, we'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't call it Constituting America. They were on Fox News and all that for a while, right? I said, sure, Kathy. That's Ed Gillespie's wife is who that is. I said, sure, I'll change it. So I started calling it Constituting Michigan, right? And anyway, this is the Constituting Michigan resolution, right? This was passed in 2016, I believe it was, all right? I wrote this as a commissioner. It calls for the constitutional studies to be taught in every school in the state. That's what this calls for, with year-end test. It's a resolution. Resolutions, Jen, you can agree with me on this. A resolution isn't a law, but it's to tell the legislators what we want, right?
Recommendation, yeah.
Yes. And this is saying, hey, this is what we the people want. And this is saying that we want the Constitution. If you read it, we want education on Magna Carta, Mayflower Compact, Declaration of Independence, all of it. Northwest Wilderness, Constitution, Federalist Papers, Bill of Rights, Pledge of Allegiance. It's all in here. Well, they called me on the phone. I'm talking to Kathy Gillespie. And I told her what we were doing, and I called her back because after I changed it to Constituting Michigan instead of Constituting America, I mean, I got in trouble on that one. But Kathy connected me to David Stedman, David Stedman was on Reagan's, he's dead now. David Stedman was on Reagan's council. Remember Stedman Industries that were on TV all the time during the Reagan years? Anybody remember them? Well, David Stedman was 91 years old when he helped do this. This is the Founding Principles Act. So you got the resolution, Constituting Michigan, calling on the Republican Party to put all this into law in the state of Michigan. Is everybody following me? Any questions on that? All right, that's what this does. Well, this is the bill that this resolution is connected to. So you got the Founding Principles Act. This calls to teach the Constitution from K through 12 with year-end test using whose curriculum? Hillsdale's curriculum. That's what this calls for. So that's why I was saying it's kind of interesting that here I am, you know, one of the first speaking events that I've done of this type. Here I am in Hillsdale doing it. I love it. It's fabulous. But anyway, that's what this does. And it calls for year-end test. And this is what's got to happen, because the reason why we're all here right now is because we learned the Constitution when we were in school. If I didn't learn the Constitution when I was in school, if I didn't learn the Bill of Rights, Pledge of Allegiance, you know who wouldn't be standing here right now? I wouldn't be. You guys wouldn't be here right now either if you didn't learn it, would you? Now think about what I just said. So how do you do it? Well, all right. So anyway, anybody know Dave Agerman? Dave Agerman was the RNC chair for Michigan. He also was a state rep. He sponsored this bill here for me, along with Tom Hooker and a few other ones. I'm just a commissioner, so. Anyway, Tom Hooker, Agerman, guys like that, Tommy McMillan, I think was there, sponsored this bill, right? And anyway, I'm losing track of what I'm saying, but they sponsored the bill. Dave Agerman, after he left office, became the RNC chair, okay, for Michigan. I handed him this resolution. This is a national resolution to teach the Constitution in every school in the country, every county, to do the same thing that we did here in Michigan. So you got the resolution, national. This isn't for one state, this is for the whole country right here, because the RNC approved it. So now it's on the platform. Nobody's doing anything. And again, here's the legislation to do it. All you gotta do is change the name of the state. Here's a resolution to do it. All you gotta do is change the name of the state, call it Constituting Illinois, Kentucky, Constituting Wisconsin, or whatever. Now, I gotta give some credit to John over here. Who was there in Lansing with us when we drew this up? You were there. He helped with it. It's one of the reasons why I'm here today. Mr. Rutan over here helped with this bill. Let's give him a hand, because he deserves it. We saw it happen. So my point is, this is how you save a country. You can get all the people that you want elected. How many of them are actually doing this? Anybody tell me? Huh?
Not many.
How about 0? So who's got to make sure it gets done?
Out west, there's a few, but it's very slim. There isn't any that I know east of Mississippi.
There's nobody I know that's got this documentation that I know of in the country. You're sitting here, we're sitting here, and I'm looking for help. I don't know everything. You know, I'm just a dumb hillbilly from Allen County, all right? But I'm passionate, and I want my country back, just like everybody else in this room. Now, like I said, I don't know anything. I don't know everybody, but if somebody knows a connection, we can use secretaries. We can use help promoting this out into the country. Like I say, I don't know how to do all that, but I could use some help. Because it's a we thing, not a me thing. It isn't for one person, it's for us as a people to do it. If there's something we could do, don't you think we should be doing it? Here's a format, here's a foundation, right here. It's called an accent. By the way, your videos will be put on the site. Now, we have a good constitutional professor right here in the room with us, probably the best I've ever seen. I've seen some of his videos, and I'm going to tell you what, have you guys seen John's videos? If you haven't, you need to look at them. They are fantastic. And you promote that. So here comes NACSAC. NACSAC, I noticed today, isn't up yet. It's being built. And that's something else I could use because I'm not very happy with the people building the site. It should have been done by now, all right? And it's not. So I am kind of looking for somebody else to do it, the site, finish it up. But John's on there. Some of his videos have already been turned on. Dave Agem is on there teaching Sharia law. I'm going to be teaching constitutional counties and how to create them like I'm doing right here, right now. I'm going to do those videos. Darlene's going to be on there. Anybody know Richard Mack? Richard Mack's going on there. He's going to do a video on CSPOA. All these videos are going to be on this website. It's an educational website. These bills are going to be on the website. All right. You're a commissioner from some county, USA, down in Kentucky, Tennessee, wherever, Illinois, right? Or a state rep. You need some legislature? Here it is. Here's your resolutions. All we got to do is change the name of the state. Am I making sense? All we got to do is, so how do you take the country back to constitutional rule of law? That's how you do it. You're not going to do it through the House. You're not going to do it through the Senate. You got to do it through the township. It's got to be done by us because they're not going to. And we got to decide what we're going to do. Are we going to do it or not? I've got a sign-up sheet here. Frankly, I could use somebody getting us connected with the Secretary of State of the U.S. They need to know about this. I've tried, and I'm not having much luck at it. But if somebody knows somebody somewhere, spread the word. We get to them. We get something done because they don't know about this. President Trump does not know anything about this. If he did, he'd be on board. Don't you think? It'd be crazy not to be. All right? And like I said, I can't do it all. You young lady, you know how important you are? Probably as important as anybody in this room because of your age and your connection to the youth. Learn how to do this and teach the youth this stuff. Do a meeting with the kids at the school.
I've only done like some connections, like I help like at North with the DNR. I help talk with the kids and stuff, so I've gotten somewhere and stuff on it.
You're going to be able to go to the website and get any of this off there. Anybody can. All right? And so yeah, I'm looking for help. This is a sign-up sheet right here. All right? And if somebody wants to work as some secretarial work, like putting on sign-up sheets onto Excels, stuff like that, whatever you think you can do, let me know. Because I really need the help. I can't do it. And it's hard. But anyway, that's about it, I think. That's all I can think of right now. The name of the company is NACSAC, National Association of Constitutional States and Counties. And that's how you take the country back, you guys. It's it's NACSAC.org. Okay? So thank you for your time.
Anybody got any questions or comments?
I have a comment. One of the things, you might not be able to do the secretarial work or do website design, but one thing you can do is take this information to your township and push for your township to become a constitutional township, for your township to form these resolutions. That's the pinnacle, that's the top of all government, is your local township government. It's the pinnacle. We always hear we need to start this in Washington and let it trickle down. That is the swamp. That's already the bottom. You can't trickle anything down from the bottom. It has to start from the top, and the township is the top government in in the United States.
You're the top. You're not the bottom. You know, I hear people, it's just like John just said, man, you gotta start at the bottom. What? We're not the bottom. We're the top. So anyway, with that, again, here's the sign-up sheet. If anybody wants to sign up, I'd appreciate it. If you wanna help finance it, put a star next to you. Okay, because it's gonna take funding as well. There's a lot, this is a task, but it's a spark that creates a flame, that creates a forest fire. Does that make sense? Thank you, guys.